This is my old Amazon bookmark that's 9 years old. As you can see, it's wrapped in tape, and even the tape is broken, as you can see here. It is so worn out, my girlfriend absolutely hates it. There's no strength left, I can just bend it around. It's falling apart basically. So let's make a new one. The very first thing, since we have this like square piece here that's about the same size as the old one, is we'll mark the edges for where we'll be sewing a frame, because I love sewn frames. I'm trying to get the gauge correctly, and this is when I realized that the one I have here is a right hand tool, and I suck at the right hand tools, as you can see. So I use it in a bit of an interesting way, you can say, and it does work, but it's not optimal. And how do I solve this? There we go. So we're just marking along all the edges, because this will give us like a canvas frame, you can call it, for where we're gonna put the central pattern in this. And the final line, there we go. Easy. And now you can see it's done. And so next step is called wet the leather. I'm not gonna show that, but we're gonna take straight into carving. And what we're carving is like a plant, basically. It's an abstract plant that I found on the internet that I'm inspired by, and I think it's gonna look nice. I honestly think this is gonna be a good design. So the first thing is called getting the stem, getting some branches going, you know, just get the shape we want to work with here. And I'm actually surprised at how easy it is to see the like the carving I'm doing. I am not the best at carving, but I'd like to say that this is probably one of my better attempts at just freehand carving. Hopefully we can do more of both carving and stamping a future like leather project, like book binds and stuff like that, because I honestly think they're kind of fun. I'm not too happy with how this leaf turned out, and that's mainly because I by accident made the lines go parallel instead of perpendicular to each other. But honestly, it's fine. It's such a small leaf and you can't really see it. The only reason I mention it is because I cannot unsee it. I did notice that I felt that it needed basically a third leaf in the bottom here, just to add in some more detail and just make it look a little bit more full, basically. And now we get to some stamping, and we're going to be using these 3 stamps here for the bottom piece here. And because otherwise it's gonna look very bare, and my neighbors are not gonna like this. But yeah, we're just gonna do a little pattern going along the bottom here, because we just want it to look kind of nice. That's pretty much it. I don't mind it going like the stem of the plant going through, but given it looks a little bare, we will try and add some more detailing to it. At least I'll try. I've never done this before in this kind of style, but I think it turned out pretty well actually. So we're adding in some of these leaves, and it looks so weird right now, but we just have to trust the process. And we have to trust it a lot. We're adding in the opposite leaves, of course, because it will add some things. Not some things, some details, of course. Words, I should use my words. There you go. And now we're basically doing like what's gonna fix it. And it's like, there we go. Now you get a little glimpse of what's going on here. We're adding these circles here, which is just gonna be these tiny flowers, basically. I have no idea what plant this is. I just saw the design and I was like, I like that. So yeah, that's pretty much all we just did. We added a bunch of like flowers, basically. And next step is of course marking holes all around the edge, and I am not gonna have you sit through that, but we are just adding these holes all the way around to sew it. So it's just, as you can see, we're following. Don't worry, not gonna see it all, but I am following around the border talked about, the border that we created. And I mean, and that was an easy way of ensuring everything could be where I wanted it, but also I knew like I had a guide, so my stitches would be somewhat straight. Alright, so we'll be painting this one now, and for this project I'll be using I think it's called dark brown? Dark brown or a maroon Scoto. So yeah, dark brown basically. Water stain. They call it a leather dyeing cream on the bottle. That's so funny. It's literally, the brand is called Water Stain, and I should have used a sponge for this. And another thing, I should have where all the blank stuff is, I should have used a backgrounder to really make the plant stand out a little. But honestly, I think it's fine. It looks good either way. I think. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. But yeah, instead of a brush, I should have used a sponge. I think I've gotten a way more even layer and also a thinner layer. Because originally I was planning on adding antique to this piece here, but yeah, I can already spoil that. Now we're not going to be doing that. You see, now I'm starting to use more of a sponge technique, but with the brush, and it's kind of working, kind of not. But it's okay. I still think, I mean, already now it looks so good. Even just with holes in it, I am a sucker for using threads to frame things. I think it looks so good and it just draws in the eyes. And originally I was gonna use white thread, but yeah, I ended up not doing that, as you will see later on. And this is the painted result. For sewing the frame, I used this orangey brown thingy here, and I didn't notice when I recorded it that my hands were not in frame, so please bear with me. But yeah, I was planning on using a white, but it was just too white, if that makes sense, for this dark project here. Like, it literally made it look almost black. And I didn't want that, but I did want some light contrast, and I think this one works so well. And I was very much nervous if I got enough thread, and because if I did, it would be perfectly fine, but if I didn't, I would need to add more thread. And I had a backup plan, which would be to glue a piece of my super thin, like I think it's 0.75mm or 1mm of leather to the back of it to hide where the new thread will be added. But honestly, we didn't need that, and I'm glad, because that gives the backside some interesting color. Now, because this is annoying to watch, we will be skipping ahead. Get that out of here, that shit. This is the new one, and it looks so fucking good. As you can see, all the details, it looks weathered, it looks nice. I even like the unevenness the paint gives. And the backside here is nice and neutral, but it looks good. And like, yeah, the ending is a little there, but it's very nice.